This is the Just Steph Show, and I'm your host, Steph Palermo, your Italian Boston girl who's an empath, healer, and all-around seeker of wisdom. Tune in weekly for advice on how to live your best life at work, home, or play so you can feel groovy every day. Today I have the chance to speak with Gloucester Mayor Sefatia Romeo Theken. She's an amazing woman who is tied to this community since the day she was born, and she has so much to tell us about Gloucester. So I am thrilled to be speaking with her today, and really a trip to Gloucester without speaking to her would not be a trip at all. So let's go. Thank you so much for talking with me today. You know, my show is just, I'm going around to various towns and highlighting, you know, some of the things that are happening in the different towns. I did one in the North End, I did Medford, and I'm actually very attracted to Gloucester in the sense that my grandfather's family came from Shaka.
Yeah, which is a lot here. Yeah.
Right. I actually just met somebody from Shaka, and you know what else I hear? Everyone loves you.
You know what? If everyone loves you, you're not a good mayor.
There you go. Well, everyone I talk to.
Okay.
How's that?
So it's probably all my family, but that's all right.
There you go. Right. You got to have your family.
That's right. I try. I was a city councilor previous to being a mayor, and then I was a healthcare advocate. So I was born and raised in Gloucester, but I've been involved in the community in healthcare for over 20 years. I'm still involved in healthcare. I volunteer on Fridays. Say we close here at 12:30 because we stay late on Thursday nights, and I run down the cafe, get a double shot espresso, give me some energy, and then I go volunteer at the senior center because I'm a certified shine. They know that I'm the only mayor in Massachusetts who's certified, but they believe in the whole United States.
Don't you feel that a lot of the other countries around the world, they hold their elders in high esteem, and a lot of times Americans have sort of let that go, where I know that with my grandparents, they were very important to us.
Not no more.
You think?
No, I think, you know what, I really thought that that's how it was.
It was.
That everywhere. It wasn't just European countries. I know European countries did, you know, being Italian raised here, yes, your grandmother and grandparents were number one, and you listened to them no matter
Absolutely.
what. You listened to them before you listened to your parents.
I agree.
That was everywhere, and I see the disconnect everywhere. In my travels, I've seen disconnect.
Oh, you're saying they're disconnected even over, you know, in Europe and in Asia.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. We have a lot of networking and a lot of Chinese delegation that comes here, and we talk about it too. And the same thing. First thing we talk about is there's no respect like there used to be.
Right.
It really isn't. I think with social media, we tend not to spend time with our grandparents. I think we don't even spend time with each other, to be truthful. And I don't think the grandparents are interested in you saying yes and no and please and thank you. I think they just want to see you.
Oh, absolutely.
And we don't have time. And that's what's wrong with this country and everywhere. Gloucester is just so unique. Believe me, we bitch, we argue, but when there's a need,
Everybody comes together.
everyone comes together.
I was reading that about, you know, how it's actually the feel that I'm getting being here. Everybody sort of comes together, and I'm not sure I'm seeing that anywhere else, to be honest with you.
I know, that's why I said to people, we don't care who's at the White House, because we live on this side of the bridge and we're not going anywhere.
Right.
You know, we're doing what we need to do for everyone here, and you know, there's so much negativity, so much. And when I cross that bridge, I'm going like, oh, I want to go back home. Because, you know, I'm so proud of my city. You know, we have diversity here, and we have a lot of different cultures, but we hold it together. We really do hold it together, and it's just, we embrace one another, and especially in time of need, and it's just amazing. And you know what, we have a philanthropy here that is just so amazing.
So let me ask you this, how much does tourism impact the city's income?
It does a lot. Our beaches, it affects quite a bit. Between the hotel taxes and the beach revenue and all the money that they spend here, I'm trying to beat Kim Driscoll. I'm hoping this year Mott tells me that we're number one, but she was number one and we're number two as far as spending revenue.
Right.
And I said, damn, I'm never going to be number two. I got to get that number one, and we're doing that, and we're trying to do that. I says, wait a minute, we joke around. I says, you have witches, and we have bitches, I mean beaches. why aren't we getting more money than you? But because the fact is, you know what? It's we all actually complement one another, and I'm glad that we're all doing well, and because we all struggle together too when it comes in the winter. We need our good weather. We need the tourism. We need that. We now have a new boating system where you can actually go online. We've had over 600 captains, and don't forget the crew and come in, and we have our moorings, and we have now Discover Gloucester because we take a percentage out of our tourism tax that for hotel and motel, and we give it right in line item right to the Discover Gloucester so they can actually promote the city. People, you know what, and I know right now everyone's happy, but I'm going to get that phone call, here, I'm stuck at the traffic lights, I'm stuck at the beach, I'm stuck here, the traffic's bad, why aren't you putting signs here, why aren't you doing this, and all of this other stuff, and you know what, and I say, people, remember, we don't need that. You keep promoting Gloucester. We don't need you to promote Gloucester. Stop promoting Gloucester. We're getting too many tourism. I said, but you know what? All these restaurants and all these stores that donate to your PTOs, that donate to your programs in the winter, get the money in the summer in order to do that.
Exactly.
So we're just saying thank you backwards.
I have to sidetrack you a little bit because I'm very curious about this. As a female entrepreneur and as a woman in place of leadership, how are you helping other women in Gloucester to maybe own their own businesses and
well, I owned my own business. I was vice president of Fishermen's Wives, and it was difficult when you were fighting regulations, and so it would be like me and Angela Sanfilippo, who's the president and the board, would be going to all these meetings. We'd be the only females with 600, 700, 800 men. And a lot of them used to get angry and say, go back in the kitchen. I mean, I've heard it all, believe me. Go do your cookbooks, because the Fisherman's Wives has great cookbooks. And, and then just stay stronger. Got to the point that, I didn't feel that women were having a voice, or in a matter of fact, not just women, but also minorities. And so I decided to run for office in 2011 as a city councilor. And my logo was, let your voice be heard. I'm also going to the schools and telling young women you can be, and have them come here, what do you want to be when you grow up? You can do all of that. I belong for, we have a program here that's called, Streets for Women Businesses, and the state actually is embracing that and giving out loans for women who want to open small businesses. And so what we did on Small Business Week, we actually went to all the businesses in Gloucester, and for the ones who were female owned, we said, did you know that these programs, we can help you to enhance it, and we do that. And then we have women who just did the Bayou, who just did this little Cape Ann travel, which are all small businesses and all women owned. And I belonged from a Status Commission for the Women. I was elected to be a member of that, and we really promote women in everything, in politics and business and education and everything you can think of. It's, really, it's hard. I tell people, when I started in healthcare, I had to go promote some of the stuff that we're doing, and it was difficult. First of all, being a woman and being a minority was and back then, believe me, people say, well, you're not a minority or Italian. Well, I'm sorry, but when you were raised in a community and there was no one else except, Italian or Portuguese, and we were called Guineas, and they were called, Portuguese, it was hard. Portuguese and all of that, it was very difficult, and they still say the G word.
I hate it.
I do too, and they still say the G word, and when someone made a remark as, well, how many guineas are in that office? And I went, excuse me? Why isn't that racist? I said, especially for Sicilians. You know what Sicilians why they call us guineas? Well, look at the definition. It's not the fact that, they're saying we're not, Sicilians are not white. I don't care about that. That doesn't even bother me, because I think my complexion, olive color, is beautiful. The fact is, using the guinea is a slang. We were part of Africa, and you're using it instead of the N word, the G word, but it's okay now. That really, that's one of the things that I can't stand. It's not okay. It's not okay, and I hate when they say a black person is this way, or a white person killed this, or a fat or skinny, whatever. You know what? Women in general are having it hard as it is. Please don't label us even more. Just being, one of the statistics of being a woman and trying to get ahead is so difficult. I hate labels. You know what? I love everyone. I really do. Even the ones who say some nasty things, I look at them and go, like, something must be wrong in their lives that they have to be this negative. whether it's mental health, whether it's addiction, whether it's female, whether it's transgender, gays, whatever, it's the stigma that people aren't coming forward to be themselves, is because they don't want to be labeled, with depression or a mental illness. They don't want anyone to know they have an addiction or anything else, so they're not really seeking the help they want to see. I have people telling me they have children waiting 13 days in the emergency room to be seen, 6 months before they can even get a children's therapist. If anything this country is doing, is we're all fighting opioid issues. We all are. Why are we fighting those issues? Because we're not taking care of the children when they have the mental problems to begin with. A child who has a mental problem and is not being seen ends up either hurting themselves, hurting others, or going into drugs. And so let me tell you something. 1997, I was dealing with that issue. 21 years, and we're still dealing with that issue. I am trying to bring awareness, and believe me, being called a guinea is nothing, or being a female is nothing, and this is nothing, is when you see a child hurting that much, goes into the schools, and they have these lockdowns now that they'll take a child out. There's no follow-up. So this child will go to try to wait and to get into a place to be seen. There's no juvenile beds. We just did another 20 in Salem. And it's not enough. And isn't that sad that there's not enough therapists to handle our children or beds to help them? We had the shortest of opioid beds. We all got together, and now we have more rehabs, more beds, more awareness, everyone, the whole country, not just in Massachusetts. And yet no one's really looking at the mental health issues again, because that's how you're going to stop those opioids.
So now that we're talking about this, what's coming to my mind and my heart is, back in the 50s, 60s, nobody went to see a therapist.
No.
It was taboo.
Yeah.
Okay. So did we have less mental illness problems back then because of the family values and the people sitting down at the table together, or did we have them as much as but nobody talked about it?
Nobody talked about it. No one ever talked about cancer. If you had cancer,
Yeah,
it was like, no one ever talked about that either.
You didn't say it.
No. It was
I
the
know.
culture of the person, the culture of the families. You didn't talk about it. In Italian, it was difficult if, no one talked about if someone was being hit or someone was being abused. Nobody talked about anything.
No.
They didn't talk about mental issues. They didn't talk about cancer. It was like, oh my God, you have cancer. You're going to pass it on. So, no, it was there. But you know what? I was looking at a lot of my friends, and we're sitting down talking, we're looking at some pictures, and it says, well, remember this one they called Floyd the Clam Digger or Rosie Crud or all this? I said, I bet you know what, I bet you they had dementia or Alzheimer's. Because I remember this certain woman was fine, and then she lost her husband, and then slowly she started changing, and everyone just, oh look, she's nuts. I bet you she had Alzheimer's. We just didn't know what it was.
Right.
Nobody knew what it was. They think, oh, they're nuts, and then you stay away. And that was it, Children, we had children. I mean, my friend in 8th grade, he killed himself. Of course, there had to be something, but no one talked about it. You put up the picture in the 8th grade yearbook, you did a little memorial, and that was it. I mean, you know what? You don't talk about it. And I'm sure that it was the same exact thing, is that either they either killed themselves as adults, or something worse, or eventually, and back then there was more alcoholism than it is opioids. So when we all thought everyone was an alcoholic for a reason, and we know why the reason. It's because they must have had some kind of problem. You just don't sit there today, I'm going to drink a bottle of wine every day, or I'm going to take this first shot of heroin. There's got to be something. And in society, what we have here is to say that we don't have juvenile therapists. We do, but we don't. Secretary Sutter said it's not a shortage of therapists. It's a shortage that they don't take health insurance. So that's like plastic surgery. Right. So if you got the money, you're going to get a facelift. Right. So if I have the money, I get to see a therapist. But where are they? Because I have parents who say, I'll pay. Yet we all pull together. Is it the way we're paying them? Is it the way insurance paying them? Now, shouldn't we demand this in the state of Massachusetts or the whole country, saying if we're all having these issues of opioid crisis, we know then there's a problem somewhere. And if we don't help now, all of these adults that are being helped, and all going through the Prairie, the Angel program, whatever. I was in healthcare, I asked quite a few of them, and most of them, 98% said to me something happened in their life that turned their whole life around. Whether it was a trauma, whether it was losing their self-confidence, something happened that made them, that they just didn't feel like they belonged, but they had no one to talk to. when you look at it, go, oh yeah, I saw that. Oh yeah, you just don't know. It's not even. It's just some of the things that now where they can hide them. There was a plastic bottle, and you're thinking, oh, my kid's healthy. They're drinking water. Well, you know what? I would shake that with water. The top comes off, and there's water. The bottom comes off, and there's water. Inside is an empty container where you can put all your drugs. Oh, so you think that's just a regular water bottle, Coke bottle. You buy it online. Already ready made for you, so you can do whatever. Tennis balls, that you cut a little crack in the tennis ball where the rubber is. No one's gonna think, because they break, they crack. And inside is where the drugs are. And they're playing tennis ball. It's just like, but why? Why are they doing this? Why? It's because they have a problem. Something's happening, and we are not facing reality that our children have mental problems.
Well, do you think, yes, we have to address the kids' mental issues, but do you think there's something that stems back to the family life and what's going on there, or is it all sort of biological and hereditary?
If you're living with someone who's severely depressed all the time and don't know what that is, that the other family members, it affects the family members. It really does. It does 100%.
Well, it affects absolutely.
You don't realize it until after something's happened.
Right.
And it wasn't for this governor that we have, Governor Baker, who finally went and said to everyone, it's an epidemic. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do that there is an epidemic in the United States, and we got to figure out where it's coming from and how do you do it and what. And he learned about trauma, this, and he talked about it. The more he talked about it, more people talked about it. It's now people putting in the newspaper, my child died with a addiction, or battling addiction, and they're burying their child. They're actually burying their child.
Yes.
With love instead of disgrace.
I'll tell you, even I have people my age that I'm seeing that are ODing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm 52, and I'm seeing this, in the various communities. It's very painful.
Yeah.
It's very painful, and
kids we went to school with, kids we know, family members.
I'm thinking at 52, you're still.
We have 7-year-olds.
I get it. No, I get it. I have extended family members like that as well, and we all do. But it's just it's amazing, and something inside me is saying the problem is people don't understand their gifts and their amazingness and where they fit in the universal puzzle, and that without them we are all lacking. And that's what I think. I think that's the bottom line. I really
absolutely.
do. I think because otherwise you wouldn't be doing this to yourself.
Exactly. A child that is either was abused, or a child that was neglected, or a child who saw a trauma, or a child who just has no self-confidence because they don't feel that they're good at sports, or something happens. If you don't get the right help, or talk about it, or see it, it starts to eat up inside you. They tell
absolutely.
me. And then you just don't feel, and then the wrong person comes. I can make you feel better, because no one wants to feel that inside. No one wants to feel that inside. And I'll tell you something, either you just can't take life itself, and that's why you have so many juvenile suicides, because there's no place to turn, or you just want to, okay, I'll start with a little bit of alcohol, and that's not helping out, I can't sleep, and then you try it with this and this. Someone says, just take this, and it's just to make you feel better, and then boom, you're hooked.
You're done. I have to say, it's a lot easier to love someone than it is to like them as a person.
Absolutely.
So you could love people, but so to actually like the person that you're sharing a bed with, that could be
it's
good.
my anniversary today. You kidding me? I like mine. Yeah.
Yay.
Second took me after I was widowed 10 years. Thank you. He's 11 years younger, and he's
the young
totally diverse because I'm doing hiking, and I so many different things, nature, and totally different person, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
God
and
bless.
I'm enjoying it's different. It's a partnership. It's no more,
that.
Yes, we like each other. Yes, you love each other, but it's also a partnership, because if you don't both give 50-50, it's going to not work. But the fact is, it's a friendship that we have, that we can do long rides, that we can do. I love lighthouses, and he'll take me no matter, you want to go see a lighthouse? Take me to Maine.
Right.
Not a problem and stuff. And it's hard, because if you're married to me, you're married to the city, and he knew that when I was a city councilor. I says, I was alone for 10 years, and this community embraced me. When I lost my mother, the seniors nurtured me. When I lost my husband, the fishermen picked me up.
So I have one last question for you, and I want everybody out there to hear from you.
Think something positive and
Yay. What are your...
Oh, and thanks for the therapy. I think that we had a good therapy
I
session.
know, it was lovely.
It was great. Yours, mine, it was perfect. Women can do
Absolutely.
that. We can go from happy to sad to crying to laughing to
Right.
eat. So there's always food on the Italian table. Therapy
Absolutely.
and I learned something about you. You learned something about me. It's wonderful.
Absolutely. And you know what? That's kind of what I do. I mean, that's what I love to do, is to talk about, people and their purpose and living that best life. So you just hit on everything that really floats
And
my
I'm going
boat.
to read your book, so thank you.
Oh, I hope you do. Thank you. And you'll have to send me a message to
I
tell me you
will.
liked it. Okay, so I have one last question.
Sure.
And so I want you to tell everybody out there, what are the events that the people who come to visit Gloucester, what should they not miss?
They should not miss our wonderful block parties. We have one a month. We have great parades here during which everyone has, but we also have a Mayor's Schooner Fest. We have 35 schooners coming. They're going to have a race, the Mayor's race, Labor Day weekend. So we'll start that Friday with the block party, and I'll kick it off with the Mayor's Schooners Fest, and then Saturday we'll have the Parade of Lights. So there are fishing vessels, regular vessels. They decorate their boats look like whales, Santa Claus. It's just amazing, and they go around in the ocean, and all lights at dark. Then fireworks and concert right there on the boulevard. And then the next day you get to see all these schooners racing. I mean, that's the Labor Day weekend here is just the best. You really need to come see it. It's amazing.
I think I'm going to be here.
Because I think everyone has 4th of July parades and horrible parades and everything. But the schooner, if you are, then you're going to come to the Mayor's Cup race on Friday, which it's a little private thing from 5 to 7 down at the Heritage.
I would be honored.
I'll be honored to have you there. It's amazing. The schooners from all around. It's, oh my God, you feel like it's just it's so unique. We have the adventure that's there, the Lanning and the Adele, and it's just spectacular. I think that's what beats us than every other harbor that's around.
That's it. That's what we're going to do. Okay,
Thank you.
great. Thank you so much
See you
for
then.
this is amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. What everyone said was true. How amazing you are.
Thank you.
Everyone I talked to.
Thank you. Thank you.
And don't worry, guess what? Now we're Sicilians. If I hear any bad stuff, I got your back.
Oh, thank you.
I got your back.
I got yours.
We stick
Thank
together.
you.
I'm so glad I had the chance to meet Sefatia. She's amazing. I love her. And I know that all of you who come to Gloucester, you're going to love her too, and all the events that she has planned for you. Thanks for tuning in to the Just Steph Show. I really care about you, your happiness, and helping you make great choices for your life. So tune in next week for more wisdom from me. In the meantime, follow me on my Just Steph Facebook page, on Twitter at Steph Palermo. My Instagram account is JustSteph1, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Steph Palermo. See you next week. Ciao, ciao, baby.